Hoops fans, how you doing? It's your boy Jonathan Macri with you for a fresh live edition here about 11:17 a.m. on Thursday morning of NBA Takedown, where if you are watching right now, if you are enjoying the show, if you are listening, if you are doing any sort of interaction with NBA Takedown, please help your boys out. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, turn those alerts on, and, do all those things you do to help support the shows that you love. I am here with my favorite closeted Atlanta fan. Actually, he's not a closeted Atlanta fan. He's pretty out and open fan of the city of Atlanta.
Yes, a fan of the city of Atlanta. Yes.
Shawn with the W. Have you ever rooted for an Atlanta sports team for any reason in your life?
Maybe the 91 Braves, because I was not a Yankee fan as of yet, and because they went from worst to first.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah.
Well, I know about it. Yeah.
So as a 91, I was 10. So you see the underdog. Yeah, I like to see the underdog win. Actually, yes, I did root for another Atlanta team once. I had Atlanta. I had Atlanta, the Atlanta Falcons plus 3.5 in Super Bowl 52. And that is that Super Bowl.
That's a real story?
Yes. 28-3. And guess what?
So you cashed out.
They didn't cover.
Wasn't the final? Didn't they win? Didn't they lose by 3? Or
lost by a touchdown.
I completely forgot that. I like everybody else. I remember 28-3. I would have assumed the final score was 31-3, but you're telling me they lost by a touchdown.
Do you understand? They lost 34-28. Do you understand how hard it is to lose a bet where you're getting 3 when the team was up 28-3 and you don't cover?
You have taught me enough about gambling in the last several months, couple of years, really, for me to know that. Yes, I know.
And it took me it was like a half hour after the game. I was like, wait a minute. These morons didn't even cover.
I mentioned this. I think I mentioned this on the show on the post game last night. I have been on a cold streak. Shout out to our friends at Fanatic Sportsbook. But I think it was at the end of the third quarter last night for Knicks. Who the hell do we play? The Clippers. I was like, there's no way this game isn't coming down to the last possession or couple of possessions. So I bet either team to win by, what is it, less than 6 or 5 or less, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was very happy I lost the bet because I didn't need to be nervous down the stretch, and it was the best $10 I spent all year. But yeah, I thought of you. So Trey Young, one of our favorites here on NBA Takedown, a guy that we absolutely love discussing for reasons both good and mostly bad, was traded. And he was traded to the Washington Wizards, who we'll get to in a bit. I think we have to start with Trae and Atlanta. What is the most interesting / funniest part of this to you?
That this was a salary dump. And don't get it twisted. Make no mistake about it. This was a salary dump. And it is an amazing fall from grace from someone who thought was to be next, and which is why I always caution people when they crown young players too early and they assume that all progression is linear and all progression will move forward. Well, I guess if you're not moving forward, it's regression, but that progression is guaranteed for a young player. And I always say, let's let them do it first before we crown them. And listen, we could discuss the elephant in the room, the team that we root for, especially considering the team that we root for. The 2021 NBA playoffs, specifically the Hawks' run to Game 6 of the 2021 Eastern Conference Finals, was the worst thing that could ever happen to them, because it made the Hawks and their fans believe that they were closer than they were. And I say all the time, happiness equals reality minus expectations, and their expectations were through the roof. And understandably so, but everything requires nuance and context. And at the time, I said it and I was called a hater, and I don't know ball, this, that, and third. I just said, you know what? I don't think that this team led by this guy is who you think they are. And 5 years later, he got salary dumped to arguably the worst team in the league.
I want to shout out our good dear friends, Julius Randle and Ben Simmons, for making that conference finals run possible. Sean's shaking his head for anybody who's not watching.
Now, it's like...
So that's first of all, shout out to them. Like look, we're gonna look back on a lot of shit that happened during the COVID years. I mean, it's years. It's the bubble, and then it's the subsequent season after that. As like, that's interesting. Whatever.
There's 3 COVID years, if you ask me. There's the bubble year. There's the empty gym year. There's the bubble year.
Yeah.
Then there's the empty gym year.
Yeah.
And then there's the health and safety protocols year where teams were pulling guys off the street because half their team was in health and safety protocols. Like, remember the
Christmas year the Warriors won the title, right?
No, that was 2022. Yeah. That was the year Trae didn't play on Christmas against the Knicks, and Damian Dotson played on Christmas because half the team was in health and safety protocols.
Yeah, no, I remember that. That Christmas Day game stands out to me for whatever reason, even though that season sucks. That was one of the few high notes. So here's what I want. I want to, because I tweeted this out last night. You just said it. This is a salary dump. And I'm going to really enjoy all of the different people who will offer opinions and analyses. I don't know how many of those people are going to be from the city of Atlanta, but whatever. Over the next several hours, days, that this was something other than a salary dump. And I'm really looking, I mean this. I'm not even being facetious. I'm looking forward to hearing how those people make those claims, because I as someone who enjoys arguing, as you may have noticed, and enjoys like the aspect of debating, like sometimes things are as simple as they seem. And before we started the show, I was like thinking, like, is there a comp? Is there a comp to a trade where you have a 4-time All-Star, 1-time All-NBA player who is barely 27 years old and was traded for a package that includes 0 first-round picks, the contract of a player who is still a nice player? CJ McCollum is a top, I don't know, top 75 NBA player in the league right now, a top 80, top whatever he is. He's someone that multiple franchises have looked at and been like, yeah, I guess we can't really build something around an undersized 2 guard who can't defend and can't also run the point. And then Corey Kispert, who I like Corey Kispert. Was Corey Kispert on the Knicks? He's a nice size, great shooter, obviously. Would not be surprised if he had a real postseason moment or moments at some point during his career. But like, that's the package. There's no firsts. That's the package.
No young players.
Like Corey Kispert's already on a second contract. He's a bench guy, on a good team, 7th, 8th man. And I said to myself, rather than trying to think of like, what's the comp? Like, how about we just go to what is this absolutely not? And I thought of the Donovan Mitchell trade. And Donovan Mitchell got traded entering his age 26 season. Again, Trae is just starting his age 27 season, so the ages are not that different. Trey Young, I just said, 4 All-Stars and 1 All-NBA player. When Donovan Mitchell was traded, he had made 3 All-Star teams and 0 All-NBA teams. And the Utah Jazz got back for him, what was it? Not 1, not 2, not 3. Was it 4 firsts?
No, it's 3 firsts.
3 firsts.
I think there's a swap in there.
And Lauri Markkanen and Colin Sexton. Now, look, Lauri Markkanen is obviously playing at an All-NBA level. He had played at an All-Star level since the trade. They didn't know that at the time, but Markkanen was a guy. He was certainly more of a guy than anybody in this trade, to say nothing of Colin Sexton, who the Jazz ended up salary dumping, but like was also thought of a good young player. And it's like, it's not apples to oranges. It's apples to pine cones. So I don't I mean it. I'm looking forward to seeing how people spin this one. I can't see it.
Well, they're going to. I'm going to read a tweet from one Rick Kamala, who I like, NBA TV longtime guy. And he says, Trey Young is officially the most disrespected player in the world, maybe of all time.
I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize.
That's not acting. That was genuine.
Maybe of all time. This is crazy. An all-time great player just got traded for a washing machine, a la semi-pro. Franchise shifting trade for the Wizards. The Hawks, the hashtag Hawks will live to regret this. John, I'm with you. A lot of people love to avoid the concept of Occam's razor. And for those who do not know, that is the simplest answer is often the correct answer. And the simple answer is the Hawks did not want Trey Young on their team anymore. Period. End of story. And they were willing to take not almost any offer, but any offer that did not screw up their books and, messed up their cap and what. And I'll say this. Here's where I will give Trae some grace and the Hawks some grace.
Should I get my popcorn?
No. But this trade is another unintended consequence of the second apron era of the NBA, because under the old CBA, Trey Young gets his max extension and the Hawks just figure it out later. But now we're seeing that teams are very skeptical about just handing out the max to the guy on their team, because you're really stuck if it doesn't go right. Shout out to the LA Clippers, who everyone laughed at them as they just let Paul George walk for nothing. But now we see why. And so to that point, Trae is not good enough now to be a no doubt about it max contract guy in today's league. But the fact that he got salary dumped, and again, this is a salary dump, goes to the fact that the Atlanta Hawks looked at a future of Trey Young on a max contract and wanted absolutely no part of it, which to me tells me you can't be an all-time great player. And listen, you think Giannis is going to get traded for like a vet and a guy on a second deal who can shoot threes? No.
So, well, obviously he's not. That goes without saying. Here's what I'll say. In terms of an all-time great player, that he's not an all-time great player. We were talking about this brief. I mentioned it on the show a few weeks ago. I think it's worthwhile bringing it up again. Trey Young's Hall of Fame chances right now. If you look at Basketball Reference, who does this, has this statistic where they use everything. They factor in age, they factor in accolades, they factor in counting stats, they factor in all kinds of different shit. Trey Young right now has a 25% chance to make the Hall of Fame. That is 28th among active players. The first 26 players on that list, we're not going to go through them. I could tell you unequivocally, a couple of young guys, like barring halfway decent health, those 26 players are all making the Hall of Fame. The lowest of those is Gobert, has a 32% chance. Then there's Al Horford, who we were spitballing about before, who's just ahead of Trey. He has a 26% chance to make it. We both agreed this is the NBA Hall of Very Good, which is why Al Horford eventually will get in. Then there's Trey Young, and then the next guy after Trey Young is Domantas Sabonis, who has a 7% chance of making it. So there's a massive drop-off after Trey.
Okay.
If Trey Young plays another 5 years, I don't even know that he has to make any more All-Star teams. Maybe he has to make one or two more. And maybe 5 years is a little light. Let's say he plays another 6-7 years at like roughly his current level of production. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's going to have the numbers. Like you could square it away any way you want. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. So this is a guy that we are talking about who is in the midst of his prime and is, again, barring health, and like a dramatic shift in role, he's going to make the Hall of Fame. So that's where I'm going to push back on you on like the notion of is he or is he not an all-time great player. The other part that I do have to push back a little bit, my friend, is this notion that this is completely a second apron thing. And do you know why I'm pushing back on this?
Why are you pushing back on this?
Because the Brooklyn Nets exist. And what did Trey Young do? Because here's what happened here. This is how this unfolded. The Hawks tried to trade Trey Young over the summer. They explored, or they at least took calls, whatever. They kicked the tires. They found nothing. And so when the situation got to the point that it was this year, the Hawks finally had their come to Jesus moment where it's like, well, we're not getting any value for this guy. They went to Trey's people and they said, hey, go find your home. And if there's a deal out there that is a halfway decent deal for us to make, we'll go send you there.
Yes.
And what did Trey Young people do? Hey, Minnesota, you guys need a point guard. You have any interest in me? Nope. Brooklyn, you have literally a carcass of a roster that, albeit is playing hard and good basketball nowadays. Do you want me to be your point guard in the future? And they said no.
No.
The Brooklyn Nets are $15 million under the cap right now. They could have done, it would have been, I'm looking at their salary, their books right now. They could have done Terrence Mann, who makes $15 million, and then some salary filler, Zaire Williams, Cam Thomas, who obviously has no future with that organization. You throw in a Hayward Highsmith. Yeah, it would have been a little inconvenient. Atlanta probably would have needed to cut one or two players. Maybe they needed to send someone to another team. But the point is, if Brooklyn had any interest in Trey Young, they could have essentially given up almost nothing and a first or so. Hey, they have the firsts. They have the future firsts that they could trade from other teams or their own future. They have, enough to, and they were like, no, we just don't have any interest in being in the Trey Young business. And it took Washington to literally be like, yeah, sure, dump him here and we'll deal with it. And so this was not a second apron thing It was partially a second apron thing, but it was also not a second apron thing. That's my point.
I think if the second apron, the reason why I give it more credence to the second apron is because under the previous CBA, you sign him to a max. If it doesn't work out, he's easier to move.
Yes, absolutely. Well,
he's easier to move because
easier
to move. Yes, because now, and I don't know if an extent. You know what? I'll ask you to do this for me. Can you look up where the Hawks are, if they're above the first apron or not? Because I say that to say, if a Trey Young extension, a max extension, puts Atlanta into the second apron, they're
14.8 below the first apron right now.
Okay.
They're not even close to the first apron.
Shit. I wonder if a max deal would have put him over the second.
They have money that is going to, they have money coming up, so like Dyson Daniels, his extension does not kick in this year. It will kick in next year.
Okay. Yes.
So they were staring at an apron future if they extended him completely 100%.
Yes. And listen, we are Knicks fans. We know the Knicks are in the first apron, above the first apron.
Well, they can't go over the second apron. They're not allowed to.
They can, but even if they could, the trades that are available to them are limited because of the rules, especially since they can't take out. Right. No, they can't send out more money than they take back, or vice versa. I forget which one it is, but
they have to send out more than they take back.
Yes. Your
point is a good one.
Yeah.
The apron stuff matters. All right, we've already gone over the amount of time that we said we wanted to do this, so let's quickly hit this from an Atlanta on court perspective, and then we'll do Washington. I don't know how we're supposed to have a conversation about what Atlanta is now without addressing the other elephant in the room, which is that they are apparently going to kick the tires on Anthony Davis. I forget where I saw it, one of the aggregators, that it would be potentially something built around Kristaps Porzingis. And I want to say Luke Kennard. And then they could inherit Anthony Davis. So they could take back more salary. I'm not sure if they would need to add a little bit more money to that. But that's so then at that point, let's just game this out. Then you're looking at an Atlanta team that has, I mean, this gets really interesting really fast. So you got Dyson Daniels. Shit, man.
CJ McCollum. But
so no. So do you start? So I'm just going to name their top, like what I would imagine would be their first and second lines. So Daniels, I think you start Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Yes.
Guy's averaging 20 freaking points a game, and he defends.
Yes.
Jalen Johnson, obviously, at the 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then Okongwu with Davis, especially since Okongwu is shooting threes now.
And because we know AD does not like to play the 5.
That's actually look, is Okongwu like a traditional stretch 5? No, but he sure is shooting like one this year.
Yeah.
And then off the bench, you have CJ McCollum, Corey Kispert, Reese Shea, as your 8th man at this point, which I don't know, long-term organizationally, do you want your former number 1 pick to suddenly be your 8th man? I don't know. Krejci, who continues to shoot the lights out of the ball. And then you got some other guys. You have Newell, you have Gay, who I remember killed us a couple times last year. So like that's a real team if Anthony Davis is healthy and playing basketball.
If Anthony Davis is healthy and playing basketball, my Hawks to win the East at 40-1 is now alive and well.
It's a live bet.
See, y'all think I'm just a Knicks homer. I have a Hawks bet. Maybe I'm a Hawks fan. Who knows?
Maybe you are.
But yeah, that's a real team. That's a real team.
And honestly, even if they don't get AD and it's just like they go forward with Porzingis, because you have to ask the same question about Porzingis if he's healthy. Like he would have a pretty dramatic impact. Look,
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Kristaps is an unrestricted free agent after this season.
Yes.
Which means he kind of has some agency about where he goes.
No. I don't know if he's still at that level.
Well, I'm asking.
I think the health issues have taken away. I think they've knocked him down a peg where I don't know that applies to him anymore.
So I asked this for this reason. Who does Anthony Davis play for?
Kristaps' old team. I don't think that. I mean, I don't think it was that acrimonious of an exit. I mean, were him and Kidd like not on speaking terms or something, and I missed that?
No. But although you want to talk about salary dumps, he got salary dumped for
to Washington.
To Washington.
Around and around we go.
I say that to say because I would think that again, second apron, you take back because Kristaps can say, I have no interest in signing with you long term after this year. Dallas will be like, we don't care, you don't have agency or whatever. But then that frees up $30 million of cap space for them to do God knows what.
Yeah, and I think that's really exciting for Dallas. It's a great point to bring up. It's something I honestly didn't even think of. And then all of a sudden, I mean, I don't want to, we're getting a little bit already too into the weeds. Like Anthony Davis may not even get traded to anywhere, let alone Atlanta. But like moving forward, there is definitely a scenario where Dallas becomes a lot more interesting very fast. As far as Porzingis, expiring $30 million contract, I could see him signing for the non-taxpayer mid-level in the summer just because of the health unreliability at this point in his career, which is unfortunate because like I've come around on Porzingis. I appreciate him, appreciate his time here, the whole thing. Okay, last thing, Washington. Someone brought up on the Knicks Film School postgame last night that I had said either before the season or early in the season that if the Wizards pick converted to the Knicks, meaning if it fell outside the top 8, I would come to his house and cook him dinner. I doubled down on it last night and I said I would also bring wine.
I saw that and I said, and I was going to send a super chat that says that I will be there as well.
It's not, and I tweeted about this before we came on. Look, there are no repercussions for teams that do what the Wizards are about to do. Fred Katz was the beat writer for the Wizards for several years. It was, I forget if that was his first job on the beat or the Thunder, one or the other. He was with the Thunder. He was with the Wizards for a while. Got to know their front office. If Fred Katz tweets out last night that like the Wizards are going to do everything they need to do to keep that pick, you could take that one to the bank. There's no repercussions. Trey Young, is he going to play 5 games for the Wizards this year? 10, 50, whatever it is, not many. They're going to do what they have to do. So I don't know. Is there anything else to be said about that?
No, I think you're right. The only thing I would think of is that the Nets last year should have clearly recognized they had a coach that was way better than they thought he would be. And that dude dragged them to the 5th worst odds, which then became the 8th. They got the 8th pick in the draft. And the Nets could have pulled all the chicanery and started doing all Portland pivots, to going full Danny Ainge, what have you. So the only thing I would say is, yes, if I were a betting man, which I am, I would bet on Washington keeping the pick because of the chicanery. The only thing I would say is that now that there's much more of a spotlight on tanking, does Mr. Silver pick up the phone and say, hey, look, morons, can you not make it more, can you at least not make it butt naked obvious? Do that. And I think maybe that's how it happens because, and listen, also I'll say this, the idea that Trae is going to get them to 30 and 52 is also Trae's last game in a Hawks uniform against the Knicks, he came in there and he helped them blow the game. So I don't know how he's not exactly the anti-tank commander.
No, look, I think he could help them because they have talented players, although losing Kispert actually will hurt them because he's their best shooter. He's one of their better shooters. Yeah, it'll be interesting as far as from let's end on this. And I talked with Matt Moderno a couple of days about this when we first got wind of this trade possibility. What's in this for the Wizards? What are the Wizards doing? No pun intended, they're rolling the dice. It's a free roll. It's a free roll. If Trae rehabs his value, great. You move him. If he's in your organization for the next year and because he's going to pick up his option, and you think hey, we could actually, we believe we could build a team around this guy. Okay, great. You got him for free. I guess the only part that would confuse me is if he played 5 or 10 more games the rest of this year and didn't really see what it looked like. And then they extended him this summer before really giving it a go round, which that would surprise me. That's the only thing that would surprise me.
I saw a report that said that Washington has agreed that they're not going to entertain that until the summer for the obvious reasons you just stated. I'm trying to look up. Okay, Trey Young's extension.
Oh, it's insane. He's at 49 next year. So actually, it doesn't even matter that he's at 49 next year. He's next year is his 9th year in the league. Correct me if I'm wrong. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Next year is his 9th. Yeah, so he's a 10+ year vet. It's 35% of the cap. You don't even need to look up what the number is.
It means it starts with a 7. Or it starts with definitely a 6, maybe a 7.
It's a higher number than you're gonna get.
Yes.
To me, let's end with this. The only question left for me with Trey Young is, is he going for the next 5 years? Are we going to continue to see him be the quote unquote engine on a team, whether that team is Washington or someone else? Or is this going to be a guy who we're going to be looking at? I don't know how soon this would happen, but 2-3 years from now, coming off somebody's bench as their six. Again, to the gentleman who said Trey Young's the most disrespected player in the history of the NBA, I guess that statement would add to the pile of disrespect. But is that question out of bounds?
No,
I don't think it is.
No, it's not out of bounds. It's all-time great is a stretch.
Not all time. No, he's not an all-time great, but he is a likely Hall of Famer at this point.
Great player is a stretch.
Actually, sorry, I did just think of a comp, and it's not a perfect comp. but it's one that I'm mad at myself because I should have thought of it earlier. And actually, 2 comps.
Okay.
They're both point guards. They both played for.
Let's see if I could.
They both played for the team represented on this hat right here.
Okay. I think I know one.
They were teammates, and it did not end well for either of them.
Yes. That's a great call.
Stephon Marbury and Steve Francis.
Yes.
And Stephon Marbury and Steve Francis were both, once upon a time, all-star, certainly. And actually, in Francis's case, did he make an all-NBA team? I'm going to say no. I think he was a 3-time all-star, no all-NBA, although I'm doubting myself. 3-time all-star, no all-NBA. Marbury also just all-star, never. I don't believe he ever made it NBA either. He certainly didn't make all-NBA with or all-star for that matter with the Knicks. 2-time all-NBA. Excuse me, my bad, Steph, my bad. And Marbury was salary dumped to the Knicks. Steve Francis was salary dumped from the Knicks, and his career was effectively over not long after he was making all-star teams. As was, I mean, Marbury's effectively as well when he left the Knicks, his career was effectively over as well. So, like, I guess they're the precedent for this.
They are, but that's not where you want to be.
If you're Trey Young, no, it's not
Trey Young. That's not the company you want to keep. We want to be a part of. And I just looked it up. For the 27 season, the max number is around $63 million.
Yeah,
so you cannot give Trey Young $315 million.
No, but that's my. I guess my point is, like, we are, without maybe even fully realizing it, we are now completely and totally out of that conversation. And I think we are much closer to is Trey Young a starting point guard in the league 3 years from now?
Yes.
Conversation.
Yes.
You know? And like the other guy that I want to reference, and sure enough, it's another former Knick, is Julius Randle, because I know we were all sitting around a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, looking at Randle's impending contract situation and be like, well, who else would pay him if we didn't pay him? And what ended up happening? He ended up settling, quote unquote, for a $30 million a year, deal with Minnesota, which is like, it's not nothing, certainly, but also Julius Randle is not a point guard, and he doesn't have the ball in his hands as much as Trey Young needs to have the ball in his hands, and like need to be on the floor as much as Trey Young needs to be on the floor to do what he does. I don't know. I am more fascinated by the situation now that he's been traded to Washington, not less.
And I'm glad you brought up Julius, because one Bobby Marks went on. Did he go on KFS? No, it wasn't KFS.
He's been on us. So he goes on KFTV more than us, but he's been on us a couple times.
He went on with somebody that summer and said Julius should take 3 for $100.
And that was with us.
That was with us. Yeah,
that was with us. Yeah,
and a lot of people, including myself, laughed at him. Like, why would he take 3 for $100? Ironically, if he wanted 3 for $100, he'd still be a Knick. And I don't know that the Knicks wanted to. No, I think if they, I don't think they did. If they offered him 3 for $100, Julius would have said no. That's for sure. I wonder if 3 for $100 would have got it done. And I say that to say, Trae, not that Trae, they're gonna. Maybe Trae is looking at maybe not 3 for $100, 3 for $120.
I know,
and honestly, if you offer him that round, he'd probably laugh. But Trae, talk to Julius. He'll tell you, like, the market, especially in this second apron world, this market ain't what you think it is.
My prediction for Trey Young is, like, let's say it goes well next year in Washington to start off next year, because again, he's not going to play this year. I could see it being like 2 for $70. You laugh, but they're going to look at him and they're going to be like, okay, go get paid, dude. Go find your pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
And Washington can afford to do that because they gave up basically nothing for him, and they lose him for nothing. Who cares?
They gave up a guy who they were going to let expire.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
Actually, to hell with that. They might have bought CJ McCollum out to do him a solid after the trade deadline.
Yes.
So what did they give up? They give up Corey Kispert.
Yes. No, you're right. You're right.
He was a nice player, but
the only thing is it's clear Trae chose Washington because he's like, this is the place where I can get paid. Because to your point,
yes.
it was Brooklyn and there was another team. Was it Minnesota?
Minnesota was the other team.
They went and they were like, no. Like Brooklyn saying no is absolutely hilarious because I know Trae wanted to go to Brooklyn for obvious reason, for vibes and stuff like that. But
I also think he thought that was a payday because of all the money that they had.
Yeah. So I just I laugh at 3 for 70, 2 for 70, but you know what? That might be it because to your point, who is knocking on a door to give Trey Young $45 million a year?
The league, we don't have to go through every team. Most teams, the vast majority of teams in the league right now, have lead playmakers that they like more than Trey Young.
Yes.
And it's like, other than our perpetual punching bag, the Kings, shout out to them, what was I think the report was that it was a report that the Kings did not have interest in trading for Trey Young?
That might have been. I saw a tweet and it said Brooklyn and some other team. And
no, it was Washington and Brooklyn were the teams that he sought out. I think I saw another report that the Kings were not interested in trading for Trey Young. Like, literally, just look up and down this. Like, Portland needs a point guard, but you think that they went out and got Drew Holiday. They already have money invested in Shaedon Sharpe, who doesn't defend. You think they're now going to go out and make a play for? They're not going to do that. And you could just look at every one of these teams. You think any contending team right now or semi-contending team is looking at Trey Young and being like, he's part of our answer? You think Pat Riley, that's going to be his swan song, is trying to go make a play for freaking Trey? I'm saying it because it's funny that anyone would think this. The Bulls perpetually do stupid shit. They already have their guy. Is in Josh Giddey. There's no one. There's no one. And that's why we are where we are today, which is just I am tickled. Just absolutely tickled that after all of the freaking nonsense from Hawks fans over the years, that they now, and I'm sure they're happy today, part of them, but also they have to eat shit.
They're split. So there are plenty of Hawks fans, like, and I know a lot of them. 2 years ago, they were over Trae. Like 2 years ago.
Okay.
So, but just as many of them that were over Trae 2 years ago, some were all thinking like their guys thinking that like Trae's not the problem. I'm like, dog, like as I said all the time, we'll end here. In Atlanta, the players changed, the coaches changed, the general manager changed. The only two things that didn't change were Trey Young and the owner wasn't going anywhere. So here you are. At some point, I forget who said it. It's like, is everybody lying on you? Everybody? Everyone?
Sometimes it's time to look in the mirror. Shawn, I love looking at you on this podcast. I love how we were like, yeah, let's do this for 15 minutes. And now here we are 40 minutes later. Thank you for contributing so much of your day to talking about a guy that we just absolutely love. Last thing. When do the Knicks play Washington next? I want him to play in that game. Like, I genuinely want him to play in that game. It is so they play each other on February 3rd in New York.
No, that's in Washington.
No, sorry, that's in Washington. You're right. That's in Washington.
March 22nd is in New York.
And then March 22nd is in New York. Well, there's not going to be any.
He won't be anywhere near.
Travis Schlenk will be playing for the Wizards by the time they come to New York. But in Washington, February 3rd, maybe.
You know what's going to be hilarious? What? F Trey Young chance in Washington for that game.
Oh, goodness. That'll be fun. All right. Shawn with the W. Any last words before we get out of here?
No, this was fun. Thanks for reaching out. Love talking the NBA, not just Knicks basketball. But if you do like to hear us talk about Knicks basketball, myself and Jeff J will be on KFS After School at 3 p.m. Eastern Time today, where we'll discuss the sky no longer falling in New York.
It's blue. I can see it. I can see it out my window.
Yes.
That's great. Tune in for after school. It's always a good time. And then while we're doing shameless plugs, Benji and DJ tonight. I believe they're really burning the midnight oil. I think they're going live at 9:30 for X's and O's. That'll be a fun one. Again, NBA Takedown. Subscribe on YouTube if you're not subscribed already, because putting up some more stuff exclusively. Gonna start adding stuff exclusively to the YouTube channel that maybe might not be broadcast on Twitter or even on the podcast feed. So please do subscribe to NBA Takedown on YouTube. I'm Jonathan Macri. This was a fun show. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will talk to you later.